SAA Express workers are calling on government to force the state-owned enterprise to pay outstanding salaries before it's liquidated next week. Workers at the airline have not been paid since February this year. Today, the workers will be marching from SAA Airways Park to the union buildings to hand over a list of their demands. Our reporter, Mbalenhle Mthethwa, is in Kempton Park. She's there to give us an update as to what's happening. Mbalenhle, good morning to you. Give us an update. I can already see people are gathering there. And what time is this march about to begin? And talk to us about their grievances.
Okay. Good morning, Leanne. Yes, indeed. Just nearly 8 months ago, I stood here when SAA workers were striking over wage increases. And literally nearly around 8 months later, we are standing here with SAA Express workers also just, echoing some of the sentiments that were echoed by the unions at the time. Unions at the time were calling on SAA management not to punish workers and retrench workers for maladministration at SOEs. And yet again, we have SAA Express workers also making a similar call, asking government not to punish workers for what they call maladministration and bad management at SAA Express. We know that these people have been here since 7:30. We were here as early as 7 a.m. this morning, and we started seeing people coming in their cars for what is going to be a march, but a different kind of march. They're going to be marching all the way to the union buildings to hand over a list of demands where they're going to be asking government to force those who are basically in charge of the liquidation process to retrench all 691 workers at SAA Express, as well as pay outstanding salaries. And they are saying that they are afraid that if this doesn't happen before next week, they will not be able to access their pension funds and their provident funds, and that the process of accessing their provident funds and pension funds will be extended and prolonged by the liquidation process. And they're essentially saying that the labor market as it stands, or the employment market as it stands, is severely damaged right now, and they can't really find, they won't be able to get employment in the next couple of months or so because of what's happening right now with the coronavirus and all the measures and the restrictions that have been put in place in order to curb the spread of this virus. And essentially they are going to probably need to tap into those reserves in order to survive until they can get a job, and we don't know when that is likely to happen. But essentially today's march is going to take a completely different form. They are going to do a convoy, stage a convoy. So everyone is going to go into a car and go onto a convoy all the way to the union buildings. And this is obviously supposed to also take into account the different restrictions and the restrictions that have been put in place in order to curb the spread of COVID-19. But I'm actually not alone here. I'm joined by one of the SAA Express workers, Upapa Mulo, who's going to be speaking to us about a little bit more about their demands. Talk to us about your demands and how this day came about. I understand that this was not organized by the unions but were organized by workers.
Yes, essentially we've been frustrated by the government. We've been frustrated by what has been taken. Because of the maladministration that happened in the company, nobody has been taken into account for that, and the workers are basically fed up because we've written numerous letters to DPE.
I'm so sorry. I've just been informed that we've lost sound. Studio's lost sound to us. I'm just going to hand over to Studio right now. Oh, I hear it's back. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, nobody has been listening to us. We're gonna be submitting a memorandum of request to the presidency, but we believe that now the government has literally failed us, because all these things were discussed in the DPE steering committee. They're well aware that we haven't been receiving salaries for the last 3 months, but nothing has been done.
And tell me something, I imagine staging a march such as this one, takes a long process, Were all the procedures, is this legal essentially?
We follow, some of the employees went to the authorities in Pretoria. We didn't receive any help. In terms of the legalities, I cannot comment on that, but what we want to do now is we just want to deliver the message straight directly to the president. If we rather be ignored by him, because we've written letters, as I've said, nobody's listening to us. We rather just he ignore us as well.
And what would you like to see the president do after handing over this memorandum of demand?
We feel we can't dictate to the government if they want to liquidate the company, but they need to liquidate it. It needs to be fair. I mean, who has ever worked or been without salary for 3 months? We need to be, if it's going to be liquidated, it needs to be done in dignity. There's people who've been working for these companies for more than 30 years. Now, to treat them like this, it's definitely not humane. It is essentially up to the government. If they want to liquidate, they need to do it properly, not the way that they're doing it now.
Thank you so much, Papa. There we have it, Papa Mullo, who is an SA Express worker, calling on government to treat SA Express workers fairly. We understand that SAA business rescue practitioners have requested government to actually put in a cash injection of around 2 billion rand just as working capital, and another 2 billion rand to allow them to retrench access staff members at SAA in preparation for the new SAA. And there are essentially SA Express workers are essentially calling on government to treat SA Express workers equally and to do the
All right, well, as you can see, we've been battling with a bit of sound there, but Mbalenhle giving us the story, Mbalenhle Mthethwa out in Kempton Park, just giving us an update on what's happening with SAA Express and that, march in a very different way, driving in convoy to the union buildings and demanding salaries. So that's a story that'll be happening throughout the day, so stay updated with that one. All right, that wraps up our news here at 8 o'clock.